Good morning. It's Tuesday and it's day 2. And today we are talking about strategy. So yesterday we talked about vision, and the call to action was after you had finished journaling, then I wanted you to make a post about what was the best thing if you reached your goal in a year from now. So some of you have already written about that in the group. And if you haven't done that already, there's still time to do it. So I don't remember the exact wording, but you can check it and on yesterday's post. And then you can either comment under yesterday's video, or you can create a separate post in the discussion. And also remind you that if you complete the call to action every day, then you will automatically qualify for a free coaching session, and your name will go into a draw for 2 more free coaching sessions. And those of you who have added friends to the group, you get your name in extra times for each friend that has joined the group. So today we're going to talk about foods that give and deplete your energy. We're going to talk about stress and digestion, and we're going to talk about chewing. So let's first talk about the foods that give you energy and the foods that take away your energy. So let's think about different foods that you eat. Particularly, let's think about the foods that you go to when you're tired or you're not feeling good, you've had a busy day, you're just stressed, you're just frustrated. What are the foods that you automatically go for? And let's think about how those foods make you feel. So typically for me, the foods that I'm drawn to are foods that don't really have a lot of nutrients in them. So I would go for chips, or I would go for something sweet, and they taste good at the time and it feels good at the time. But then as it goes on, then I feel like I don't have any energy. And I'm going to tell a story about my birthday. And I decided on my birthday that I was going to eat whatever I wanted. And so we went out for breakfast, and I had a nice stack of pancakes with strawberry preserves and strawberries and whipped cream and syrup. And then I had a few slices of bacon as well. Well, about half an hour after I finished eating, I could feel like my head was kind of wonky, like I had a bit of a brain fog. But the biggest thing I noticed was that everybody was getting on my nerves, and I felt like nobody was talking fast enough. They were taking too long to tell their stories. They were just really getting on my nerves. And it wasn't until a little bit later that I realized that was the effect of the food that I had had for breakfast. And because I hadn't been eating like that in a long time, I hadn't noticed it before, because I felt like that all the time. But then I hadn't eaten like that in a long time. And then that's when I noticed it. So if you're reaching for foods that maybe feel good at the time, but then later you start feeling sluggish, you feel kind of bloated, you feel irritable, those are the foods we tend to default to. And those are the foods that cause the spikes and the roller coaster ride with our blood sugar. So especially going for the high carb, high sugar foods. So you eat the food, you feel really good. And you actually do feel good because it gives you this spike in your glucose levels. And so you do kind of get a high. But then the problem is, it's like the roller coaster. You get to the top of the roller coaster, but you're going to have to come back down. And that's what happens with our sugar when we are reaching for those foods that deplete our energy, the ones that are high in sugar or high in carbs, or just the ones that don't have a lot of nutrients in them. So then what happens is we come crashing down to the bottom, and that's when we start feeling irritated. You can feel shaky. You can have brain fog. You just don't feel right. And so then the thing is, when you're down in the pit, now what are you craving? You're going to crave something to bring you back up again. And it's easy to just grab for that food that's easy to get to. But they're full of empty calories and they don't have nutrients. And that's why we keep having the spikes in our sugar and in our moods and the way we feel. So that's the first part of the strategy, is finding foods that don't make us feel sluggish, that don't drain our energy. Now, how do we do that? Well, paying attention after you eat. Pay attention about half an hour after you've eaten to see how you feel. And I have a journal if you want to do it and actually keep track of it. I can post the copy of the journal. It's just a 1-page thing. And you can do that for a couple of days. And then that way you're able to keep track of how you're feeling after you eat. Or another thing is we reach for high calorie drinks like energy drinks or coffee. Obviously, coffee doesn't have a lot of calories unless you're adding cream and sugar, but the coffee does very similar things, and it spikes our levels, and then we have a drop. Even natural juices that have no sugar added, they also cause spikes, because typically one serving of orange juice is half a cup. Now, if you measure half a cup, it's not very big. But if we have a glass of orange juice, we're going to have a glass of orange juice. And nowadays, glasses aren't even 8 ounces. Like if you measure the glasses that are in your cupboard, they're probably around 10 to 12 ounces. So we're having oftentimes triple what we should be having. So pay attention to the foods that you eat over the next couple of days, and then journal on that page how you feel about half an hour after your meal, whether you're feeling hungry or how your emotions are, and just see what happens. But I'm sure right now you all know that one food that you eat that drains your energy or just makes you not feel so good. And then another strategy is to eat what I call a magic plate. So this is where you would have half of your plate would be fruits and vegetables, a quarter of your plate would be protein, and a quarter of your plate would be high energy carbs. So not starchy carbs, not refined flours and refined like breads and stuff, but you want good wholesome carbs, whole grain, that kind of thing. So a quarter protein, a quarter good carbs, and then half of it fruit and vegetables, and then a small portion, 1 to 2 tablespoons of healthy fats, because the healthy fats are what's going to help you feel sustained, as well as the fiber and the protein. So if you're eating high sugar foods, you're not going to feel sustained until your next meal. So you're going to be snacking more often. The other strategy is making sure that you get enough water in the day. And I know we've been hearing about this for years, but it's actually true, because being dehydrated can actually be it can mimic being hungry. So sometimes if you're hungry, it really helps to just guzzle down a glass of water and then see if that hunger feeling goes away. If it doesn't, then reach for a snack, but make sure you're reaching for a quality snack. Another tip is to don't drink while you're eating at your meal, because when you're drinking, it dilutes the enzymes in your stomach that digest your food, and therefore it prevents the protein from digesting properly. So let's go and talk about digestion. When you are under a lot of stress, or even if you're just frustrated, your body is going to go into the fight or flight mode. And when your body's in the fight or flight mode, then it doesn't digest your food. It can only be in the digestive state or the stress state. So I've given this example before, but let's say you're at the zoo with your family and you're having a nice picnic, and one of the lions gets out of the cage. Now, is your body going to say, oh, I need to digest this food that I just ate? Or is your body going to say, I need to get away from this lion? Obviously, it's going to get away from the lion, which is the fight or flight mode. And so all of the energy in your body is going towards dealing with that stressor that's in your situation. And it's not going to digest your food. The problem is our body doesn't know the difference between a lion chasing us, or kids getting on our nerves, a spouse annoying us, being frustrated at work, being stuck in traffic, or even stronger stresses. But even everyday stresses, our body doesn't know the difference between those and a lion chasing us. So it's really important to make sure that you are relaxed when you eat. And obviously, especially if you're a mom with kids at the table and dogs begging at the table and whatever else is going on in your life, it's really hard to have no stress in your life. But think about when you're sleeping and you get in that really deep, deep sleep. Then your body, think of how you breathe when your body is completely relaxed. You're doing deep breathing. And so this is a key thing to do before you eat, is to just take a few deep breaths. So take a deep breath and count to 5 as you breathe in. Hold it for the count of 5, and then exhale for the count of 7. Do that 2 or 3 times until you can feel your body relaxing. So what this does is it actually tricks your body into thinking that it's relaxed. And therefore, it kicks it into digestion mode. So instead of the food going to fat stores, now it's actually going to be able to digest it. And then that leads me to the next strategy, and that is chewing. So I asked you to bring a snack, and if you didn't bring one, then when you get off the video, I want you to try it. So take a bite of your snack and just count how many chews you take before you swallow. Now, I find it's kind of hard when now you're paying attention. So obviously you're going to chew more than you normally would, because now you've drawn attention to it. But on average, a typical person only chews a bite of food about 3 chews, and then they swallow it. So that means that your body has to work a whole lot harder to digest that food. So instead of taking the nutrients out of the food like it's meant to, instead it has to work at digesting this food. And a good example, and I know it's kind of gross, but a good example is when you eat corn. And when you eliminate that corn later, you can actually see that you ate corn. And that shouldn't be happening. That means that you're not chewing your food properly. You shouldn't be able to see that. And I have a woman I was talking to who has trouble keeping food down. So we were talking about chewing, and she said, oh, that makes so much sense now, because when she ends up throwing up, she knows what she ate, and we shouldn't be able to know that if we're chewing our food properly. And the other thing is, our saliva glands actually have digestive enzymes. So the more you chew your food, the longer you chew your food, the more those enzymes in your saliva are going to break down the food so that you're able to digest it. And that helps you get all the nutrients you need from your food, and it makes it so your body doesn't have to work so hard. Now, somebody said, well, if your body has to work hard to digest the food, does that mean you're burning more calories? No, that's not how it works. It just means it's harder on your body. It puts more strain on your body. So the more you chew your food, the easier it is for your body to digest it. So what do we have here? We have paying attention over the next few days of the foods that make you feel energized and the foods that drain your energy, and paying attention to the high sugar foods or the foods that are lacking a lot of nutrients in them, and seeing how they make you feel. Not drinking water at your meal or juice, because it dilutes the stomach enzymes and prevents protein digestion. Making sure that you drink at least 8 glasses of water a day, because the dehydration can mimic being hungry. Following the magic plate, which is half vegetables, 1/4 protein, 1/4 carbs, and then 1 or 2 tablespoons of healthy fats, which would be like olive oil or grass-fed butter, nuts and seeds, that kind of thing. If you need to know what the healthy fats are, let me know and I can give you that information. And then journaling for the next couple days, remembering to breathe at mealtime before you eat, so you trick your body into being relaxed, and then remembering to chew your food so that your body can digest it. So these are just a few of the strategies, and what I want you to do today for the call to action is to post in the group 1 or 2 foods that you know deplete your energy, make you feel sluggish or make you feel bloated and tired. So 1 or 2 foods that drain you of energy. I want you to post about that. And what else is there? Oh, and then, so there's actually 2 calls to action today. Number 1 is let me know 1 or 2 foods that drain your energy. And then the second one, I want you to tell me how long it took you to chew that piece of food that you chose to have. Okay? And if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. It doesn't look like I have a lot of people on today. And if 10 o'clock is not a good time for you and there's another time of day that would be better, let me know. I don't mind you watching the replay, but it is kind of nice to have people online with me, because I feel like I'm talking to somebody instead of just talking to myself. So let me know if another time works better for you. Okay, so I'll write the call to action in the post, and if you haven't done the one from yesterday, you still have time to do it. I will do the draw for the 2 free coaching sessions on Monday after everybody's had a chance to get caught up. And then I will also at the end of the week give the link to my calendar for those who have completed all the call to actions. I'll give a link to my calendar so that you can book your free coaching session. So if there are no questions, then I'm going to say goodbye for today. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about mindset. And this is really important to pay attention to this one tomorrow, because this is all about the mindset is the way that we're going to ditch that diet mentality. Okay? So thank you so much for being part of this. And I have enjoyed the comments from yesterday, and I look forward to hearing from you today and talking to you again tomorrow. And if you do have any questions, let me know, and or you can send me a private message, whatever you like. But I'm here for you all week long for any questions that you have. All right, have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.